Hi, my name is Ariel Waldman, and I'm with the National Museum of the United States Army. I'm here with my colleague, Brake Finson, and today we will be interviewing Chaplain Khallid Shabazz. It is June 8th, 2021, and we're conducting this interview over Zoom. Purpose of this interview is to conduct an oral history interview to understand Chaplain Khallid Shabazz's experience in the Army as a Muslim chaplain and around 9/11. So to get started, could you just give us some biographical details? So your name, date of birth, branch of service, your highest rank, and when you started in the service.
Yeah, my name is Khallid Shabazz, date of birth 12/30/1968. Branch of service, United States Army. I've been in the Army for about 28 years. I started 1991, 92. And I came in just kind of a better life for my wife and children.
Great. So did you hold any jobs before you were in the service?
Yes. I was a cook. I was a clerk. I was a janitor. My last job before coming into the Army, I was a janitor at Kmart before coming into the Army.
So can you tell us a little bit more about when you went into the military? What kind of was that catalyst for you?
Yeah, like I said, I wanted to do better. At the time, I had a wife and 2 kids, and wanted to do better for them. And the military has been a viable solution in my community for years. My father was in the Air Force. However, I didn't know much about it because he and my mother divorced when I was a young boy. But I always kind of had my eyes on the military as a bailout plan. And so I came in the military as a young 23-year-old named Michael Barnes, just trying to have a job to put some food on the table. And what happened from there is actually quite amazing. I was in about 1 or 2 years, and hearing all this information, I watched the movie kind of Malcolm X, and decided he was such a magnificent human being because he was in this organization, and then he went to Mecca, had a change of heart, and wanted to embrace all of humanity. I thought that was really like courageous, and so I decided that I was going to be Malcolm X, right? So, so at that time, I converted to Islam, 1993. Changed my name from Michael Barnes to Khallid Shabazz. Was receiving kind of some injustices there in the unit, and I was in the what we call the field, and I saw this chaplain off in the distance, and I said, "Man, God, if you have any mercy, please, I don't want to talk to the chaplain. I got enough problems, right?" But this guy came over, devout Christian, talked to me for about an hour. And at that time, at the end of the conversation, he said, "Why don't you become a chaplain to help people like yourself who are in trouble?" And for me, I got to tell you, Ariel and Brake, for me, the lights went off in my head like never before. I had found my purpose on becoming something in life to help people. And that's how I became a chaplain, a Muslim chaplain.
So what made you stay in the Army and made you decide that the Army Chaplain Corps was right for you?
Yeah, because I wanted to help people like myself. And when I say people like myself, I'm talking about people from traumatic backgrounds. What you guys don't know about me, molested at 10 years old by a family friend, a special education in the 8th grade, failed the 9th grade, failed the 12th grade, went to college. I got thrown out of college. I was shot in the back first, and then I got thrown out of college for fighting the guy who shot me in the back. So very traumatic childhood and adulthood. So the Army was a saving place for me, a saving grace for me. Even though I was having trouble in the Army because I converted, this opportunity to be a chaplain to help people like myself, it was just, that's why I stayed. I dedicated myself to the Army and to the people in it who were hurting like me. That's why I stayed.
So what happened next?
What happened next? Well, I got out of the military because you had to go to seminary. So I got out of the military, went to seminary for 3 years, came back on active duty, and people would say the rest is history, but that's not true. Because there were no Muslim chaplains, well, we had one at the time, and I was the second. So I go into my commander. I'm happy. I'm a really extroverted. I'm the extrovert of the extroverted people in the world. So I go into my commander and I reach out my hand and I say, "Yes, sir, it's Chaplain Shabazz here to serve you." And he wouldn't shake my hand. He said, "We got some problem with your religion and how you guys treat women. Have a nice day." Right? And he didn't talk to me for 9 months. But I was so happy to just be in uniform and be a chaplain. It didn't bother me as much probably as it should have. And to his credit, 9 months later, he came in front of the formation and apologized and said I have wronged one of my officers. And then life began to get a little better. But every time I changed duty stations, that type of some form of that happens. But in that first duty station, I think why you guys want to talk to me, in that first duty station, 9/11 happened, right? Which was transformational because I was having so many problems in the unit with my faith. The division chaplain, who's a lieutenant colonel, I was a captain, came down and he said, "Khallid, we got to get you out of here. These people are probably going to tear you apart. You're Muslim. We're going to fight 9/11. And I said, excuse my language, I said, "Hell no. I'm not going anywhere. These are my people. This is my job. I'm staying right here." And so in that moment, I became an asset really as juxtaposed to a liability. And so they were able to use me not only with the other Muslim soldiers, but also since so many people knew me in the unit and I had helped so many people in marriage counseling, I became more of a safe haven or a staple in the community because of 9/11. So it was a bad time, but it was beneficial for me and kind of catapulted me into people trusting me, believe it or not.
Wow. And where was that duty station?
This was Bamberg, Germany. It was Bamberg, Germany. And I tell you, just even thinking about it almost brings you to tears because it was such a pivotal point in my life. I mean, I could have certainly ran and kind of hung out with the division chaplain, but I didn't. I chose to stay.
Wow. And how has your experience since 9/11, in the wake of 9/11, been as a Muslim chaplain?
It's been very tough in the sense where, because I'm the senior guy, I'm called into not only all of the good things, I'm called into the bad things. Also, like when we had down in Fort Campbell, Kentucky, where the young sergeant killed his commander and his XO, I had to come down there and kind of be like any other chaplain would be. I had to go and talk to him and counsel him and ask him to ask for forgiveness from God, so on and so forth. Well, chaplains do this all the time. However, in the military context, where the units are so tight and he killed his commander and his XO, now all the guys who are in uniform with me are jeering at me like, "Why are you even talking to this guy who killed our commander?" But that's the chaplain's job. So that was very difficult. Then a couple of years from then, I get a call and they said, "You're going to Guantanamo Bay, Cuba." And I was very happy actually until my commander said, "Why are you smiling?" I said, "Well, I'm going to Cuba. I go out there and play some golf and hang out." He said, "Well, you need a better context than that." He said, "They're sending you in because the last Muslim chaplain just got arrested and he's been in jail for 75 days." Right? So all of my golf dreams went down the pipe. So now I become to be terrified. Okay. And so now I'm transitioning. I go to Guantanamo Bay, Cuba. The last Muslim chaplain has been detained. I'm giving interviews every Wednesday to all of these news stations. And remember, I'm just a young captain. And then because I have to take care of the detainees, the soldiers think I'm a sympathizer, and many of the detainees think I'm an American spy. So I have no place to go. I have nobody to lean on. You know, my fellow soldiers seem like they hate me. I don't know if they did or not. And then the detainees detest me because they think I'm an American spy. And so that time, 8 months, extremely difficult for me, probably the loneliest part of my life. And so you get over that hump and you say, okay, well, I survived that. So now I'm a major, okay? And then I'm at Fort Hood and I'm counseling this young man. He kind of seems kind of erratic. So I go to his commander and say, hey, you know, this guy seems kind of erratic. You might want to keep your eyes on him. And it's like, okay, chaplain, whatever, chaplain. And then, you know, this guy shoots up the base. And guess what? I've been talking to him. And so again, people are looking at me with a jaundiced eye. I'm just out here just like any other chaplain trying to help people. However, after 9/11, I'm not just a chaplain, I'm the Muslim chaplain, right? And so I have lived a life as a Muslim chaplain in the public eye for all of my career. And I got to tell you, it's been very tough and very lonely. Very tough and very lonely.
Can you talk a little bit more about how your experience in the public eye?
Yeah, my experience in the public eye, I mean, so you got about 1,400 chaplains in the Army. The majority have a cross on. I have a crescent moon on, so that's automatically, you know, brings attention to me, okay? And so it doesn't help that I'm 6'5", 275 pounds, right? So, so now I am this super huge human being walking around with a moon on, okay? And so now I'm in your unit and everybody's buzzing like, what is this? So when you find out that I'm a Muslim, you know, I'm sure thousands of thoughts go through people's head, right? And so living in the public eye like that, I believe, and I know that I'm an ambassador for my religion. So that burden in itself could get overwhelming at times because I'm just a human being. And, you know, on any good day, I might let a cuss word fly, right? So it's like, oh, you see, the Muslims curse, you know. So I'm very keenly aware of that. So in that respect, it's been tough. I mean, I got to be careful when I say with my last duty station, but a couple of jobs ago, because people have fought in Afghanistan and Iraq, now, you know, some of those commanders and staff members, they're in your duty station. And so a couple of jobs ago, we had one guy who would come in, he would shake everybody's hand in the room but mine. And, you know, I would just smirk because I know this is how it is for me. And then, you know, this happens about 4 months. And then we had a memorial service. I had to lead the memorial service of one of our soldier members who died. And after the memorial service, this guy hugs me and he says, I'm glad you're on our team. Well, the backstory is that, you know, a couple of his friends were killed in Iraq and they were killed by Muslims. So when he sees me, he has those thoughts in his head. And it took 4 or 5 months for me being in the unit to kind of at least halfway overcome that. So for me, being in the public eye is just not being some big guy that's being seen. A lot of these soldiers and colleagues of mine have been in war for like the last 18 years. They've lost family members, they've lost colleagues, they've lost soldiers. So, you know, unfairly or unfairly, you know, I'm a part of the Muslim religion and sometimes they attach that to me.
Oh, do you find it difficult to face all of that prejudice since 9/11?
As I've grown as a human being, it's become easier, and I say that because most of us are just not honest with ourselves. All of us have biases. All of us have prejudices, and all of us at times may discriminate against people based upon our own biases or prejudices. So, for me, I have to give people the benefit of the doubt. I have to give people a break and say, hey, they don't know you yet. Once they get to know you, then we can start to break down some of those walls. And that's really the approach that I have used in the last 15 years. And I think personally, that's why I've gotten so far in the military. Because nobody in history from my faith group, has held the rank of colonel.
Can you talk a little bit more about that, becoming the first colonel who is a Muslim chaplain in the United States Army?
That's great. I'm a rock star, man. Yeah, it's great. I mean, it was great for my family who are non-Muslims, but just from my traumatic background, to see me get to this point in life, it's great for them. It's great for my kids and my grandkids. The other side of it is, like, when I became the first Muslim division chaplain in U.S. military history, I had threats on my life. People were saying, hey, wherever he's preaching at, we're going to go there. We're going to shoot him in the mosque. He's a demon, right? So there's pressures that come along with, being the first of anything. But one of the greatest memories of that is not the threats on my life. One of the greatest memories, we had two same-sex women. Nobody on base would counsel them. And I'm from Louisiana. And so for me, people are people. I don't care where you come from. I don't care what you look like. I don't care what your preference is. If you want to talk to me, I'd like to talk to you. And so I counseled them. And what was fascinating about it, on these websites where people were threatening my life, guess who was my biggest supporter? Like, no, he's a good man. They're typing, and if you hurt him, we're gonna hurt you. I mean, I thought that was fascinating. I love that type of stuff because I believe you have to be the change you want to see in the world. I want to see people do good. I want to be a good person to honor my mom and my father. And so I just carry that type of attitude whenever I meet people.
That's incredible. After facing all that prejudice, to not have any prejudice and just wanting to help people.
Yes. Yes. I was taught, my mom was a very devout Christian woman. And she used to tell us these things all the time. Of course, we didn't pay attention. We were like, Mom is crazy. She's weak. Why does she not hate people who hate her? You're right. And, but as you get older, you realize that all of us are struggling. Like, all of us are in this big world and got so many things coming at us. And so I use a saying in many of my speeches, until you change the way you look at things, the things that you look at will never change. So I want to look at people with fresh lenses. No matter what your prejudice or your paradigm in life is, if I can help you, I think it's my job as a teacher on this journey to find a way to help you. So that's how I live my life.
Can you talk more about what being a Muslim chaplain in the Army Chaplain Corps means to you?
Oh, it's everything for me. It wakes me up in the morning at 03:30 when I'm in the gym and I'm sweating and lifting weights and running and screaming at this Facebook account, Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn. I'm sending out messages, and I'm sure people are saying, "What a clown! why go back to sleep?" But I mean, honestly, I don't know how other people feel. The Army saved my life, right? And because it saved my life, I am the Muslim chaplain, but for me, I'm the chaplain that happens to be Muslim. I don't approach people with religion. I approach people with critical thinking on how to change your life. It's amazing that you asked that question. Just yesterday, I put it on my Facebook account today. A retired Army officer came down to my office. He comes down pretty much every day, but he decided yesterday to reveal something to me. He said, Chaplain, when you first got here, I could see your disposition and I really wanted to talk to you. But because I'm a devout Christian and I talk to other people about talking to you, they said, yeah, you probably don't want to talk to him. He's probably going to try to convert you and all this kind of stuff. So he waited 4 months before he even talked to me. And so he came to me yesterday and he said, you know what I realized about that? He said, I wasted 4 months of my life because for the last 6 months, you've been the best friend that I ever had. We don't talk about religion. We talk about life. We talk about our struggle as human beings. So this white, devout Christian is coming to me, a Black Muslim, and to say that, I tell you, I was in tears. We were hugging in the office like we were elementary kids, right? 2 grown men hugging from different parts of the world, different paradigms, different religions, but that's the power of intimacy and growth. So I love it. I mean, honestly, because I don't lead with it. I lead with just trying to find a way to love people.
Can you talk a bit about what are some life lessons that you've learned from your military service?
Yeah, life lessons for me is discipline. The discipline, not only physically, but mentally. Right now, I'm serving as a supervisor for people who are Jewish, Catholic, Buddhist. We have 2 Buddhists. I'm serving for all these people who have different thought processes and different paradigms in life. I have to find a way to manage them. That takes discipline. That takes a regimented lifestyle of thinking to say to myself, this person doesn't think like me. How can I find a way to touch them, to inspire them, and not alienate them? I mean, that takes a lot of thinking. It takes a lot of discipline, and it takes a lot of assurance of yourself, of not saying, well, if I accommodate them too much, am I disrespecting my own religion? Am I disrespecting my own values? No, the military has taught me a great deal about myself, and that's self-discipline.
Do you think that self-discipline has helped you while dealing with some of the prejudice and some of the distrust that you faced after 9/11?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Because when you're a self-disciplined person, that's part of the reason I get up at 3:30 in the morning and go to the gym. It's not really just about, some aesthetics, but part of that is knowing that you have to be strong enough to get through that. Because I know most of the time it's just a defense mechanism. It's fear. When people see me and think they know what I believe, they're putting up all of these barriers, and some people are being mean to me and nasty to me. I know it's just defense mechanisms. And then, it was amazing, sometimes 3-4 years, I never get to talk to these people. I get an email. You were so influential in my life. Sorry for treating you so bad, and you never treated me bad in return. I had a subordinate, chaplain. He was very strong in his faith, and he said, I need to find a way to get from under your leadership. There's no way I can serve God and serve a Muslim at the same time, right? And so I brought him in the office and I said, hey, the most important thing in life is that you're secure and you stick to your values. I will help you find you another place to work. I just want you to know that you asked for this. I won't be vindictive. I won't do anything but help you. 6 months down the line, his commander asked me to help him write this guy's evaluation, right? This guy doesn't know this today, right? I helped write his evaluation to get him promoted to the next rank, right? And so he doesn't know this, but 5 years down the line, sends me an email and he says, you know, I'm so sorry for the way I treated you. I was immature. I hear all over the Army that you're a good man, and I just want to apologize to you. And I'm like, I'm in tears on the other end of the computer because, I mean, that's my mission. I want to be the change in people's lives.
That's incredible. So deciding to be the change in people's lives, was this kind of part of your Malcolm X journey, or?
Well, the Army kind of forced almost this upon me because I thought about my beginnings as a chaplain. Just think about it. This guy is a devout Christian. He comes over to this kid who's a Muslim, who's having all kind of problems in the unit because of his faith. And he inspires me to be a chaplain of my own faith group. I can't even explain it. He was definitely an angel in my life. So what I am today, I dedicate to him because his paradigm was to love people, right? He loved his soldiers enough to inspire me to become a chaplain. So every person that I touch and inspire, I always thank him. And I don't know where he is right now. I saw him probably about 8 years ago. But you know, that paradigm was developed because of him, not Malcolm X. I just wanted to be excellent like Malcolm X because I heard, you know, I saw the movie where he read the whole dictionary with an 8th grade education. And I never considered myself a smart man. So I dedicated myself to education because of Malcolm X. And you would be amazed to know I've been in school for 25 straight years. I have 2 PhDs and 4 master's degrees because I dedicated myself to to education.
Wow, can you talk a little bit more about your various degrees and how that has impacted your experience in the Army and as a chaplain?
Yeah, those degrees, of course, I did them on my off time, which is very difficult, but sometimes getting up at 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning. But my dream was always to be a college president. So I have a PhD in higher education administration, but I also have a PhD in religion, Christian religion at that. The master's degree is in teaching methodology, philosophy and ethics, interfaith dialogue, and of course, I have a master's degree in Islamic studies. And so those degrees, in my opinion, has given me the resources to help more people, right? Because the diversity of those degrees, and I teach college in my free time, yeah, and allows me to put students and soldiers in my classes and then help them out as human beings. That has helped me personally, but has also helped the Army because I can help these young soldiers who are not necessarily confident to go to school. They're in school with the chaplain, so they figure, well, the chaplain's not going to fail me, so I'll take his classes.
Wow. I was reading a little bit about your biography and saw that you were a part of Operation Enduring Freedom. Could you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, most of the time when I go into theater like that, I'm the only imam, only Muslim chaplain. It's good because I get to go all over the theater and see sometimes young Muslim soldiers who are onesies and twosies who are stuffed off in some corner somewhere, and so to have a visit from me is thrilling for them, but it's also thrilling for me that I could go and see them. In my unit, when I'm the only imam and having to go to all these different places, it's a compliment, but it becomes burdensome as well. The commanders are like, "Hey, you're doing all this work for everybody else. When are you going to stay here and do work for us?" Right? So, but you have to explain to them, I'm an Army asset. So when I'm in wartime and, doing what we call key leader engagement, sometimes with the imams and people on the ground, my Arabic is not very good anymore because I don't have anybody to talk to. But just having, we were in Kuwait last year, and I got to tell you, they treated me like a king because they couldn't believe that we had Muslims in the American Army. And then a Muslim of my rank and status went to Kuwait, and I tell you, they showered me with all kind of gifts that I had to give back because the Army won't let me have gifts, right? But they brought me over to their houses and we ate dinner. They introduced me to their children, and I met some high level people. And just being a chaplain, having an opportunity to meet those type of people, and they were giving me that type of respect it's phenomenal.
Wow. Can you tell us why you were in Kuwait, what your mission was?
Yeah, it's Ramadan. Usually for Ramadan, they're going to tag me to go into theater to provide services for Muslims all over the theater. But what happens is by the time I get there, I tell you, that's why I told you I'm a rock star, man. By the time I get there, all these high level folks are pulling on me. And so I'm giving speeches sometime in universities. I got to speak last year at the Grand Mosque, which I hear they don't let Americans speak there very often as far as for service. All right, I got to speak there as the Muslim chaplain, did interviews on Kuwait TV. And so, for every Ramadan, they send me somewhere. This year, I just, because of COVID, I decided to stay in the States, but I got to go to Fort Drum and Fort Lee. And Fort Drum, it was amazing. They had 3 Muslim soldiers on the books. By the time I got there, they had 46. Seriously, they had 46. They had a little room that they gave them to pray. By the time I stepped my foot in the building, they had 46 people. I'm a social media guy, put it on social media. I got kind of slapped across the hand because these people were like kissing me on the face, hugging me, pulling on me. And I think that's important because I tell you, it had kids crying. You know why? One of the kids was crying. He said, for the first time, I believe the Army cares about me. I mean, it's a simple visit to go and do a Friday service, just like other chaplain would do a Sunday service. But the kid said, for the first time in my life, I feel like the Army cares about me. And there you have it. I mean, that's some high speed stuff.
We would love to hear a little bit more about your experience impacting and meeting young Muslim soldiers all around the world, in the Middle East, in the United States. What is that like for you?
It's crazy because for me, I'm just little Michael Barnes from Alexandria, Louisiana, who decided I wanted to change my life and be a better person, right? And now I'm this dude, right? And I'm just going to these different bases and people, I'm telling you, it's transformational. I mean, they're crying, they're hugging me. They want to take pictures with you. And sometimes, they're inviting you to their houses for dinner and all kind of crazy stuff because somehow they think you're special. I'm not special. I just want to help people, right? So meeting these young soldiers give me more energy. They give me more spirit, and they give me a greater sense of purpose because I'm impacting their lives, not only in the Army, but on how they see the world. One young soldier, she said, I didn't even think Muslims had a chance to make it past sergeant. You a colonel. And then she said, why are you here talking to us? Right? And these are young soldiers. I'm at this young lady, I'm at Fort Lee. These are like guys and gals who are just coming in the Army, right? And they said, I just, it's out of this world that you're talking to us. And that makes me sad, but it'll inspire those people for the rest of their lives.
What is it like being one of very few, actually the only of your status, one of very few Muslim chaplains in the Army?
It's great because nobody knows what you're doing. you, you can just make it up on the fly. They're like, "Oh, that's brilliant." I was like, "Yeah." No, it's great for me because it's part of my personality. The bad side about it is, I have other chaplains who are of different faiths, who are Christian, Jewish, or whatever. And unfortunately, some of them kind of see you as a hot dog, right? You're a Lone Ranger, you're a rock star, you're arrogant, you're conceited. It's really none of that. I didn't ask for any of this. But when you're one of something, people want to talk to you. They want to see what makes you tick. They want to see how you got here. How did you overcome all of that stuff? So that's hard to translate to sometimes some of your colleagues and even sometimes some of your supervisors who think you should just go and sit down and be humble, whatever that means. And so I understand that I'm working in a purpose to touch people's lives. And that's not going to be everybody's not going to feel good about that.
What is your most vivid memory of touching someone's lives in your role?
Yeah, my most vivid memory happened about 4 years ago. I'm a baby. I don't want to start crying, but so in my office, one of the things that I do is I have all of my degrees on the wall, right? All 9 of them. And this young lady comes in, she's an E5, African-American, and she's bawling her eyes out. And she says to me, I want to give up. I want to quit. It's too hard, suicidal ideation type stuff. And so I tell her my story, my bout with almost getting thrown out of the Army and almost committing suicide, and felt like I was a failure because of Article 15s and all that kind of stuff. And she says to me, like 5 days later, like, you saved my life because I was going to kill myself today, right? And just having an opportunity to, just by my experience, to be able to save somebody's life, that's amazing. Just by, overcoming hardship and being able to speak to somebody's soul like that. This young lady now, she is, at last check, she's an E7 somewhere. She was an E5 at the time, college graduate, and she was going to kill herself. That's my most vivid imagination. So even when I'm down on myself sometimes, because sometimes I feel like I'm not doing enough, I think about people like her and say, man, I got to keep going, because just tomorrow I could be in a position to talk to somebody and change their life.
That's incredible. Absolutely incredible. So, wow. What would you say are some of the life lessons that you've learned from your military service?
The military is teaching you a big lesson: don't quit. There's an old saying that I read in the book. It says some of the strongest people in the morning cried themselves to sleep last night, right? The military gives you this kind of warrior ethos that no matter what happens in your life, just keep pushing, right? Sometimes you got to go through hell to get to heaven, right? It's common knowledge, right? And so for me, I just don't quit. I understand discrimination. I understand racism. I understand Islamophobia. But none of that stuff to me has anything to do with me, right? My job is to not quit, right? I go into situations, I believe that I'm an inverse paranoid. I believe eventually everybody in this room is going to love me. Everybody doesn't think like that. I know it's maybe naive and it doesn't always happen, but that's my paradigm in life. Everybody's in this room is going to love me because I have something to offer them. It's not money. I have hope, and you have a person in your life that absolutely, without equivocation, loves you. And I don't need anything from you, right? And I think that's a very rare quality I have from my mom.
Great. This is one of our final questions. What message would you like to leave for future generations who may hear this interview or view the transcript or anything like that?
I got two messages for them. The first one is, most people die at 25, but they're not buried until they're 75. I'm going to say that again. Most people die at 25, but they're not buried until they're 75 because they have bought into the false reality or the false narrative of reality. Most of us say, well, it's not realistic to do this. It's not realistic to do that. Those are false narratives, right? I'm living proof, even from a guy who came from special education. Now I have 9 degrees, right? Because I just refused to quit, right? So most people die at 25, but they're not buried till they're 75. Most of us just give up on our hopes and dreams, and we just wait until we're 75 years old for somebody to throw the dirt on our face, and then our life is over, full of regrets. I think life is bigger than that. The second thing that I live by is, if your ship don't come in, swim out to meet it. I'm going to say that one more time. If your ship don't come in, swim out to meet it. If you can't swim, get a lifeguard. If you don't have the resources, I don't care, go in the corner and sell cake or bubble gum or whatever you need to do to get to your destination, because your destination is special. Nobody can do what you're designed to do. I believe that with all of my heart. I believe every bad thing that I went through in life absolutely was essential for me to take on this role so I can touch people's lives. And I thought the world was against me. I thought God was against me. I thought people were against me. No, nobody was against me. I was being prepared to touch people's lives. And so what I would tell people is, keep pushing, don't give up, and you absolutely have to believe in yourself. There are going to be thousands of people in this world who don't believe in you, and you shouldn't be one of them.
Wow, what made you change from that narrative that the world was against you to, no, wait, everything is here and it's happening for a reason?
I really had to go in and reevaluate myself. You know, so many times we're so focused on what other people think about you, but we never really peel back to, what do you actually think about yourself? What do you actually believe, right? Most of us are handed down our beliefs from our parents. Most of us follow our friends. Most of us follow, all of these narratives, but we never really, go in introspection and study ourselves. And so what I did, to be honest with you, I just got rid of, it's gonna sound bad, but I got rid of all my friends. And I started getting books and watching TV and watching tapes. I wanted to try to find out who I was. And I did that for 5 years. And people, thought I was a little weird, but I wanted to know who I was, right? And so when I did that and I came out on the other side, I developed the saying, what other people think about you ain't none of your business, right? My job was to love people, even though people think that's weakness, right? My job is to take care of people, even though people say, well, they're just going to betray you. That has nothing to do with me, right? My job, if I want to be the change that I want to see, that means I'm going to have to make some sacrifices. Sometimes people are going to, mistreat you. Sometimes people are going to disregard you. That has nothing to do with me. If this is truly my purpose, I think we miss that sometimes. That's a personal onus. If it's my purpose, that means I'm willing to take all of those things to ensure that the world is a better place.
It's been such a pleasure talking to you. You are such an incredible person. And
you.
I can completely see why you know, are one of few. Is there
Thank you.
anything that you want to tell us or share before we wrap everything up?
If I can say this to your audience or anybody who's listening, if you want to think about life, consider how hard it is to change yourself, and you'll realize how hard it is for other people to change themselves. And all of us have things that we're working on, right? I have things that I'm working on that I fail in all the time, like this diet that I'm on, and I keep going to Popeyes, right? Right? So when I'm thinking about other human beings, I always give them the benefit of the doubt because I keep breaking promises to myself, right? And so if I could share that little wisdom with your people, when people make a mistake and disappoint you and sometimes don't keep their promises with you, just think about all of the times you disappointed yourself and broke promises to yourself. And you're supposed to love yourself more than you love anybody.
That's incredible. Thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us.
You're welcome.
We really appreciate it.